The time is now, and the future of Oklahoma football is here as the Oklahoma Sooners are preparing their team to go to the SEC. And last week, we talked about the defensive line in the 2024 class for the Oklahoma Sooners. But today, we're going to talk about the quarterback, the running backs, and the wide receivers, and what I think is going to happen, and maybe what you should expect, and what we're hearing around the market for the Oklahoma Sooners in terms of these positions. But before we jump into it, please go ahead and hit that like and the subscribe button. Let me know what y'all are thinking down in the comments below. Who do you think the Sooners are going to land on offense in 2024? Give me somebody outside of Michael Hawkins, because I think Michael Hawkins is probably too easy of an answer. So let's start at the quarterback position. Because when you're looking at the Sooners offense in 2024, and really at the whole class, there's no better place to start than at the quarterback position, because the quarterback is usually the one that kind of gets the class going. They're out there recruiting at all positions, trying to get people to help make their class great. And you've heard some people say that the staff might try to take two quarterbacks if they are available. But here's my honest opinion, because I think the staff has taken Michael Hawkins. If you take Michael Hawkins, next year in 2024, you're likely going to have a first year starter in Jackson Arnold. And I use the word likely because Dylan Gabriel still technically has another year after this year. And are they really going to turn him down if he throws for 3,500, 4,000 yards next year? Are they really going to turn him down? And I don't think Jackson Arnold would be too opposed to sitting by Dylan Gabriel another year. Now, the question is Michael Hawkins opposed to it? It would make your quarterback room better and deeper. And I know OU fans are not going to like that comment I just made. So I know y'all are going to jump in the comments and ridicule me. But it is something we at least have to talk about, because there has been no clear indication that Dylan Gabriel's leaving after next season. So I at least have to throw that out there and make you guys aware of it. So in 2024, you'll probably see something similar to what they did in 2023. They'll get their prized quarterback in this class, and then they'll probably take some PWOs as well to kind of fill it out. At that point, you would think Oklahoma would have 2 or 3 scholarship quarterbacks and then some PWOs. And that's not a terrible position to be in. I get why they want to take 2. I just don't think it's going to work. I don't think Michael Hawkins wants that. So Michael Hawkins, he's a quarterback for 2024. 2025 is the year that they likely take 2. I think it's going to be headlined by David McComb out of Edmond Memorial. Dude's going to be special. So that's kind of what I think is going to happen when it comes to the quarterback position. But what about the tight end and the wide receiver position? Because I think the tight end will be a huge need for the Oklahoma Sooners. The wide receiver role, we really don't know what they need, right? I think we know of a couple wide receivers that they could really potentially go get, but I don't think we know exactly how hard and how aggressive they're going to need to be on the wide receiver trail. Because when you look at the wide receivers that are potentially going to be returning, Jalil Farouk, Andrell Anthony, LV Bunkley Shelton, Jaden Gibson, Nick Anderson, you've got Caden Helms at the tight end position. Like, when you look across the board, they actually have a decent core coming back. Keon Brown, guys that they took out of this last class, Jacquees Petaway. Think they're going to be pretty okay. And so I don't think you have to take a super heavy wide receiver class. I've got the 4-star, 6'2", 180-pound wide receiver out of Midlothian, Texas, Bryant Wesco. His sister, Bailey Wesco, is a sophomore for Oklahoma soccer. In one season, he had 61 receptions, 886 yards, and 8 touchdowns. I look at the wide receiver, Josiah Martin, out at Denton Geyer, a teammate with Jackson Arnold, and in one season had 61 receptions, 61 receptions, 886 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Pretty incredible. Because Brian Wesco had 75 receptions, 1,372 yards, and 18 touchdowns in his career. So you look at it and go, okay, Josiah Martin, if he has a big year, the dude could jump up in the 4-star territory. But when you look at the tight end position, this is the one that intrigues me a little bit now. Because originally I was looking at Jaden Riddell, Carter Nelson, But now you're hearing that Devon Mitchell is reclassifying. And in the 2025 class, he's a 5-star. And so he's really good friends and teammates. Well, he was teammates with Michael Hawkins and Zena Yumio Azulu. Now he's out at Los Alamos, California. But I really like the position for the Sooners if they land Michael Hawkins here. I really do. I think this would be a great land for them. I think they'd be the front runner. And Devon Mitchell, he's got size 6'4, 230 pounds. This guy is a dude. 33 receptions, 731 yards, 9 touchdowns. I can see Devon Mitchell being a block passing tight end while also being able to go out there and make some big time plays. So, as far as the wide receivers, I think, like I said, Oklahoma could be on the fence on a couple. But we need to see how the rest of the recruitments line out, and we need to see exactly how many people are still going to be on this roster after next season. We're not going to get a huge number on that until after the season. Now, if a 5-star wants to come into this class at the wide receiver position, hence Micah Hudson, the 5-star, 6', 190-pound kid out of Temple, Texas, you take it. Because Michael, he's taken 2 visits to Oklahoma, 1 on the way in the spring, but he took 3 visits to Texas Tech while Emmett Jones was there. You would imagine that if this will bode well for Jones and Levy, the Sooners could now hold 2 strong relationships, potentially be in good position. I'm not going to count on it. I'm not going to put my bread in the basket here. It's just something that I think maybe people should keep their eyes on. The recruitment of Micah Hudson. Now, there are a couple other receivers that I like outside of Bryant Wesco at the 4-star position. I like Jeremiah McCullen, the 4-star, 6'1", 185-pound wide receiver out of St. Louis. Zion Kearney, the 4-star, 6'3", 193-pound wide receiver out of Missouri, Texas. And then if the Sooners don't land Devon Mitchell, I would assume the Sooners could land Jaden Riddell, because I would assume he'd be a pretty high priority target for Levy and the Sooners. Jaden has taken 1 visit to Oklahoma, but he's wanted by some of the most elite teams in the country, 2 of them being highlighted by Ohio State and Alabama. So Jaden Riddell is going to be pretty interesting if we don't land Devon Mitchell. Okay, so now let's take a look at the running backs, because this is an area where the Sooners look really good right now. The room is really deep. The roster is really talented, and I don't necessarily think you need more than 1. Listen, the staff probably takes 2 just in case, because you never know what's going to happen in the transfer portal. But when it comes to the future of Oklahoma football at the running back position, we're doing pretty good. You've got the 4-star running back, 5'9", 180-pound kid out of Duncanville, Texas, Caden Durham. I think Oklahoma's going to land this kid. Why? Well, Emmett Jones relationship out of Duncanville, Texas. I think he helps you a little bit. DeMarco Murray is just that dude at recruiting. And Caden Durham, he's taken 3 visits to Norman, with the most recent being that junior day. And you kind of heard that the relationships with DeMarco Murray has built. These recruits, all signs point to Caden and DeMarco having a great relationship. And I'm really liking what I'm hearing and what you're seeing out of those 2. Additionally, I really like the 5'10", 192-pound 4-star out of San Antonio, Texas, James People. He's a top 100 player. We've had him here on the podcast, and he was incredible. If you haven't already, go check that one out. Recently taking a visit to Oklahoma, there's been a lot to believe that DeMarco Murray and the Sooners have made a lot of ground in the recruitment, where he has taken 4 visits to Texas. And Texas and Alabama they have been the thorn in the side of the Sooners at the running back position. But I think this is where you see DeMarco Murray finally get over the hump with Alabama. We could put the Kamari Wheaton and Jason days behind us. Can't think of the other kid's name. Totally blanking on it right now. You guys know what I'm talking about. But the question is Stacey Gage. Because I know a lot of Sooner fans, they really want him. And I get it, right? Being from Oklahoma, you want to land as many of those kids as possible. The question is the staff going to be okay with Stacey Gage dragging this recruitment out? Because they might not land him. I mean, there's a really real chance that the Sooners might not land Stacey Gage. That's why I've said don't count on it. Like, but Stacey Gage's upside. Because when you look at the extensive offer sheet for Stacey Gage, Ohio State, Florida, Georgia, Florida State, like it's elite. And he's got Florida and DJ Lagway heavily recruiting him. Ohio State seems to be a front runner here, as he's taken 4 visits to Ohio State and Florida. I don't think he takes just one of the 2 spots. I think he'll likely be in addition to the 2 spots. Meaning, you get your commitment from Durham and James Peoples, and then Stacey Gage later down the road ends up committing, and BV takes him, gives him a scholarship spot because, well, he's an Oklahoma kid and they want to land as many of those kids as possible. They want to show loyalty, right? They don't want another situation like what happened in, I believe it was 2019. There was a specific cornerback out in Tulsa that was a 5-star that Oklahoma did not land. They don't want that to happen again. They don't want another Josh Jacobs to end up at Alabama. Yeah, I went there because I'm still a little salty about it. So when you look at the list of offensive players minus the offensive line, which we're going to make a separate video for, because I think that's going to be a decent class in and of itself. You've got Michael Hawkins at the quarterback position, wide receiver Bryant Wesco, wide receiver Josiah Martin, tight end Devon Mitchell, running back Caden Durham, and running back James Peoples. Now, if we have a bunch of portal exits, I don't know if Farouk will go to the league or Andre Anthony will go to the league, but let's say 1 or 2 guys go to the league, and then all of a sudden a couple more roster spots open up on the wide receiver, then I might go in there and add a couple more during that time. But that's not going to be till a lot later, guys. And anybody else that we get, let's say we land all these guys and we get, more on top of it, it's all upside for us. But this is who I think the Oklahoma Sooners are going to land. It's not to say they're not going to land the other guys. I'm just not confident in the other guys. Not willing to put my bread in the basket for those. So go ahead and jump down in the comments below. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are. Who do you think will commit to the Oklahoma Sooners on the offensive side of the ball here in the 2024 class? And if you haven't already, guys, hit that like and the subscribe button. I work on bringing you guys constant college football content. I work on bringing you guys constant OU content. I know we talk about Colorado, Florida, Arizona State, and some other teams on the podcast, but listen, I talk about all things college football. It's my passion. I love it. So I want to cover other teams, but y'all are my first love. So we're going to talk about you guys the most. But I need you guys to hit the like and subscribe button. If you guys like those interviews, it's more important for you to do that. Because when you hit that like button, you subscribe, it helps me bring you guys more interviews. You guys don't understand how much those numbers really come into play when you're talking to a player to be able to come on. So hit the like and subscribe button. And until then, we'll see y'all next.